We'll begin with opening comments from Mauricio, and then we'll take your questions.
Hello, how are you guys? Nice to see you. Pleasure. Now I put the gallery, I can see everyone here. We are busy. Mike, we are busy. A lot of people.
We have a lot of friends joining us today, Mauricio.
Yeah, very good, very good. Very good. Okay, Mike, I am ready.
Okay, then we will go straight to questions. And we'll begin with Stephen Goff from the Washington Post.
Mauricio, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I was wondering if you could discuss the goalkeeping situation, the decision to bring Zach Steffen back into the mix, and your concern over the two English-based or British-based goalkeepers who have not been playing recently. Thank you.
Yes, no, you're welcome. No, I think it's all the players that will be in the roster is because we were in the last months working a lot with all the staff in the national team. We have an excellent professional working, following and analyzing all the player that with the possibility to join us. And I think, yes, Stephen Sacker, we know him, and I think he deserves the opportunity to be with us. Of course, we always put all the circumstance when we made the decision. But I think he deserves the opportunity to be with us. That is our first roster. I explained a little bit that we were working from the distance with all the analysis guy there, just trying to find, and to see who is the best, squad, the best balance. And I think it's a good opportunity to see him and analyze, but not only with him, if not with all the players that they are involved in the roster.
Next will be Paul Tenorio.
Sorry, Mike. Maybe I explain a little bit for what we were doing in the last months, because I think can help you. From the moment that we were in New York and the announcement of that we joined the national team, USA Soccer men team, and I think we start to work in many things. Of course, by Zoom, by contact by phone. And of course, watching games. We didn't have the opportunity to join all the players. That was the decision not to join or not to go to see any player, because we didn't want to make or to create nothing wrong in between them. I think now the opportunity is going to be to meet them and talking in an individual way and then in a collective way, because all was rushed, because we were also, I need to tell you that yesterday we received the visa and we can fly Saturday, because that was also a nightmare, but then we got the visa and now we can go, and also we were busy in all the paperwork, but now it's done. But yes, in the way that to create this good relationship, I think we were working in, because it's so important, is to with all the staff that is in USA, to put all in settle all the principles and to be ready when the player arrive this week, and for us also. And yes, we were working in many things, and of course preparing the roster. And I think we really trust in all the opinion and all the information that we receive from the national team. That is why you are going to see a very similar, roster from last camp, for different reason, but also for reason that some players that are injured, re-injured, circumstance that maybe we cannot, call another player. But I think this one, every single player that is going to be on the squad deserves the opportunity to be with us.
Thank you, Mauricio. And so now we'll continue with Paul Tenorio.
Thank you, Mauricio.
You're
I was going to ask about your first month, but I wonder because you didn't go meet with anybody specifically, and I'm sure there were players that you were familiar with from the past, whether it's Zach Steffen or Christian Pulisic, Wes McKennie, guys who maybe are a bit more prominent. Were there any players that you were not as familiar with that when you watched games really surprised you that you're excited to get to work with this month? Thank you.
Yes, I think I am excited to see all, in place and face all, because I think all have different characteristics, and for sure it's really important to know their personality. Of course, if you ask me about Pulisic or Anthony Robinson or Stephen, I think player that or Tim Green that we already know or we met in the pitch sometime when we were player again, and I think player that or McKennie that but I think it's really exciting moment for me. It's really exciting. I cannot wait to meet them and on the camp in Austin. And I think it's going to be fantastic because what we want to feel from them is their commitment, their personality, their character, the capacity to adapt to a new era, a new way to approach the games. And I think that is going to be the key, the capacity for them to think in the collective, to think to give everything, to try to be better like a national team, like a team. And of course, respecting that they are individual person, individual player, but I think is to try to create a very good atmosphere that all the players that will join us, they feel that the collective is the most important thing.
Next will be Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael, and hi, Mauricio. Thanks for doing this today. Really appreciate it. You
welcome.
mentioned that you made some phone calls. I'm curious who you spoke to, how many players, and what did you say to them when you spoke to them?
Do you say that I was talking with a player by phone? You asked me.
I thought you said that. No, so you have.
No.
Okay.
I didn't talk. I'm going to be honest. I met only one player, Anthony Robinson, because by coincidence they were in a dinner with his team in London with Fulham, and I met I met him, and I say hello, and we were talking, and then because some player in Fulham that were my player in Tottenham and in Southampton, like Harry Reid and Sessegnon, and they introduced me Anthony. Yes, and was very good chat that we shared. This was the only player that I saw, and I am told by coincidence. I said, look, you are going to be an exception because I didn't spoke with no one. I didn't call, but you are going to be the first. I think you have the privilege to be the first to talk with me. No, and no, I didn't want to because we didn't have time. Being honest, I didn't have time. I don't want to call only for the reason to say, oh, I call some guy or another. I think all deserve the same way for us to operate. Of course, from now, after the Austin camp, we are going to be more in contact, and we plan to visit them, not only the player that are going to be in the roster for this camp, if not for the player that we want to see on place, and maybe we are thinking in the possibility for the future. Not only the players that are in Europe, also players that are playing in different countries, like in the MLS, of course. Player with potential, we are going to try to create these links and relationship for them to to feel that we are going to care, and to look after them and going to follow them and to try to push and to to motivate that there is the possibility, is going to be the opportunity if they perform well.
Next will be Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael, and hi, Mauricio. I appreciate your time.
Hello. You're welcome.
You mentioned that this roster is of course, very similar to previous rosters. In the future, do you plan to bring in maybe a wider selection of players who have not received many opportunities with the national team in the past?
Yes, we were thinking a little bit in some player. I'm not going to give the names because if not, it's not going to be fair. But I think yes, we start to follow some very good players that I think have the potential and maybe are not now in the roster, but for sure they are going to be in the roster in the future.
Next will be Jeff Carlisle from ESPN FC.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, Mauricio.
Hello.
Just wondering what your thoughts are on the center backs at the moment. Just what their level of form is. What's impressed you, and what kinds of things are you looking for over the course of these two games?
Look, for me, it's about the collective. I think, of course, now we have some players like Richard or Cameron that are injured, different players that we need to evaluate. We were watching in live, not me, one of my staff in Toulouse, Lyon, the game. There was there Mackenzie playing. I think we have good potential players that can perform very well. Of course, we need to improve like a team. We need to see in the way that we need to settle the principle to try to help to everyone to perform well. I think when you ask me about the central back, is because maybe the last games or like this, maybe was a situation that some mistake happened. But I think in football, mistake happen. But the most important is how we can reduce this mistake, and we try to avoid, settle principles and concepts during the game that can help, in the quality of our player to perform better, and sometimes take risks in different areas, or take risks when the game put you in a situation to take risks, not to take risks with no sense. I think it's too many things that I think is not to blame player. I think it's in between together we need to find the best way, to work, to give all the tools to the player, to know exactly what they need to do and try to avoid mistake. Because it's true that when you analyze the last few games, maybe it's not because they don't have quality. Sometimes taking risks in necessary in some situation on the pitch when they don't have the support, when they don't have the possibility, to find the man free, and with the situation that sometimes you create the problem when you need to play more simple, create better angles. That is all about work and to settle the principle. That is what we want to start from the first day. Working to helping them to perform and to feel confidence, because I think the talent is there.
We'll continue with Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Thank you, Michael and Mauricio. Obviously, when you're an international coach, you just want your attackers scoring goals. You want your guys going out there and scoring. And when you look at everything that's happened since you were introduced, like that's what's happening. Christian scoring goal after goal. Josh Sargent, Ricardo Pepi, Flo Balogun, all these guys are scoring every week. How much easier does that make your job, just having those guys in form, and how much harder does it make it having to pick between them when everyone's kind of in form at the same time?
Yes, the most important is to find the right balance. Of course, that we have players that can score, like you say. I agree with you. I am excited to try to see them in action and how we can find the best balance and the best way to play. We are going to, from the beginning, I think, is not to create too much, chaos. I think we are going to try to plan to play using two systems, 1-4-2-3-1 and 1-4-3-3, and from there to develop, our way to play, and see how we can adapt and how we can create the partnership in between them, to find the best way to create a very good way to play, very exciting going forward, being protagonists. That is in the way that we want to perform, is in the way that we want to play. I think soccer need to be an exciting game for the USA citizen. I think they need to enjoy every time that they go to the stadium. I think we have amazing players, but the most important, they need to believe, because of course we can have too many offensive players that they can perform, but then it's two phases on the game that you need to control. With the ball, that for me is the principal objective, because I am a coach and we are coaching staff that we love to dominate the games, and of course to have the possession and to have the ball, because I think is the best way, first of all, to defend, and second, because if we want to win in the way that we want to win, is to play closer to the opposite goal. But and then it's the phase when you lose the ball that we are going to be very, very, very demanding. In when we lose the ball, we need to be desperate to recover as soon as possible. But we need to work like a team. In this moment, we need to show that we are a real team. All the team that wins and won titles, or you can see Argentina winning the Copa America or the World Cup. Of course, when they have the ball, play really well. But when they don't have the ball, they work like a team. They are really, really, really rough and the principles. And I think we need to enjoy when we don't have the ball and try to recover and be really strong and very strong defensively. We need to be very competitive. It's not only to play football, nice football. It's to be very competitive. That for me is the objective. And some pundits, they were talking, because I follow, of course, the media now more in USA, more than you believe. And many of the professional pundits that they were talking, and I am agree that we need to create a very good exciting play to way. But when we don't have the ball, we need to defend, and we need to be strong, and we need to enjoy defending, because we need to be a team that not concede too many goals if we want to, to achieve the objective that on the end is 2026, is to preparing the team for the World Cup.
Next will be Roberto Abramowitz.
Hola Mauricio, ¿cómo estás? Un placer saludarte de nuevo. Oye,
Hola,
una
¿qué
pregunta
tal?
sobre Diego Luna de Real Salt Lake, que no fue seleccionado con la selección olímpica, aunque mucha gente creyó que mereció estar ahí. Y ahora, al parecer, y hay reportes de que quizás esté abierto para poder representar a México, como él tiene esa oportunidad. ¿Has tenido la oportunidad de verlo a él jugar? ¿Qué es lo que piensas de él? Y si tienes algún plan para poder platicar, perdón, con él en el futuro sobre la posiblemente seguir con la selección nacional de los Estados Unidos.
Sí, es un jugador que estamos siguiendo, que no hemos tenido la posibilidad de ver mucho, pero que lo hemos visto y que es uno de los jugadores que nosotros planteamos como futurible, ¿no? En nuestro equipo, ¿no? En el equipo nacional. Está claro que no solamente él, sino hay muchos otros jugadores que son jóvenes, que nosotros vemos un potencial grande. Te puedo nombrar unos cuantos, pero no vale la pena entrar a nombrar otros jugadores. Pero sí que es un jugador que nosotros pensamos que en el futuro inmediato va a poder tener la posibilidad, seguro tener la posibilidad de demostrar su calidad con nosotros. Sorry, I can repeat it. That I repeat in English the answer, or
No, it's okay, Mauricio.
it's okay?
Thank you for offering.
Okay.
We can translate later. So next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hi, Mauricio. From your past club jobs, what have you learned about what you want to say to the players on the first day to set the tone and the mindset that you want?
I think the most important is to be simple. Player need not to create too many complications. The player cannot believe that they're going to arrive to the first day in Austin. We are going to be in the room and to start, to spend 2-3 hours talking about tactics, about different things. I think the most important that we need to settle few principal few concepts that I think principle that after start to develop with the time. I think general, way to behave in the way that we see the football and in the way that we want to compete. I think from the beginning, we are going to be very simple and to settle the principles that from there to build the relationship first, and then in the way that we are going to create a relationship inside on the pitch, that is important. But I think both on and off the pitch are really important in the way that we are going to create. But from the beginning, we are going to be very simple, very clear in our ideas and our concept. Also with the staff, because I think the staff is waiting for us to arrive, because we are going to meet them in Austin for first time. And it's really important also to provide or to dictate in the way that we are going to act and the way that we are going to expect things from them. Like the player after, they need to know very well what we are going to ask and expect from them also.
Next will be Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Mauricio, thanks for the time. When you watched Brendan Aronson play with Leeds United, and as you've watched him over the last few years in Europe, what do you think his best position is for a guy who obviously can play multiple positions, and what do you see in his talents? Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part of the question. Sorry.
He was asking about Brendan Aronson.
Yes.
And what do you think his best position is, and what have you seen from him?
Yes, I saw him. I know when he arrived to Leeds, and of course, the impact was amazing. And I think he's a player that can play in a different position. We'll see in the way that he's going to evolve with us. Always player, when you watch and you feel something, and then when you create a relationship and start to work with them, you start to feel, is exactly what you think before, or is a complete different when you met, the player. I think can play on the right, on the left, like number 8 and 10. He is a very good, I think, looks very professional. His standards are very high. He's a player that always give the best to their team, the work ethic, excellent, and the quality also to score and be running in behind to the line defensive, also to play in half space in between the lines. I think he can provide different alternatives to the game. But I think it's true what you say, and I agree with you that of course that he's young, and it's true that he's playing in too many different positions, and maybe now it's time for him, to find his best position. They say that is my best position. I'm going to perform here. I agree that is this. We need to help him to discover where is his real position and is going to perform in his best. And we are going to be there to try to help.
We'll go to Sammy Sadovnik from Football de Primera.
Thanks, Michael. Hola, Mauricio, un gusto saludarte. Después de algunos años ahí estuvimos en Londres contigo entrevistándote en Tottenham. Fuiste tan gentil de regalarnos la chompa. Te quería preguntar sobre la posición de los porteros. ¿Te preocupa que Matt Turner tenga pocos minutos de competencia en su nuevo equipo? ¿Saludable la vuelta de Zach o el propio Ethan? Digamos que los porteros que, entre comillas, puedan ser titulares no tengan los minutos necesarios en esa posición.
Sí, siempre preocupa, a un seleccionador que sus jugadores tengan pocos minutos en sus clubes. Creo que eso es algo que es un hándicap que tenemos que corregir. Yo creo que también teniendo la Copa del Mundo a menos de 2 años, yo creo que también ellos y su gente, de su entorno, y en eso también nosotros vamos a tener que ver en tratar de aconsejar de la mejor manera posible para que ellos puedan tener un año previo a la Copa del Mundo donde puedan tener la posibilidad de competir más, ¿no? Que creo que eso es algo importante para llegar a una Copa del Mundo en las mejores condiciones y para también tener una evaluación mucho más certera, ¿no? de los jugadores, porque está claro que tú puedes rendir, tener una performance buena, pero cuando estás demasiado tiempo sin competir, los timing, tiempos, el estado de forma siempre tiende a bajar y eso es algo, un hándicap que no, a veces no se puede permitir en una selección. Sí, estoy de acuerdo contigo, estoy un poco preocupado, por eso yo creo que también el poder estar con Matt o con Ethan bueno, Stephanie y Schultz vienen jugando, pero bueno, ellos dos también para incentivarlos y motivarlos, si en sus clubes, por lo que sea, también tener la posibilidad de que puedan salir a competir a lo mejor si le dan la posibilidad a nuestros clubes, buscar la mejor decisión para que ellos puedan también competir con los porteros que están jugando, puedan tener también la posibilidad de competir al mismo nivel, porque al final nosotros también evaluamos, ¿no? los rendimientos para después las llamadas a los equipos, lo que vemos durante los partidos de competición en donde ellos se encuentran, en los equipos donde ellos se encuentran. Por eso que esa referencia, la mayoría de los jugadores van a tener que pensar en corregirla porque llegar a un mundial sin competencia, bueno, puede llegar fresco, pero sin competir es un hándicap que yo creo que no se puede permitir, ¿no?
Gracias, Mauricio. Éxitos.
Gracias.
We have time for a few more questions, and we will continue with Mike Waitala from Soccer America.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mauricio, does preparing for your first national team camp as a coach bring back memories of when you were a national team player for Argentina? And does that experience of playing in a World Cup, has that been something that you think you'll be thinking of as a coach? And do you remember anything about playing the United States in 1999?
Yes, we lose. We lose. I think, yes, it was in Chicago and was so hot. I remember the temperature was so hot. I remember this game. Really, really tough game. And yes, yeah, but I was very disappointed after the performance for us. But I think, yes, my experience like a player, for sure. I have very good memories, and it's going to be good next week to be in Austin. Yes, I exactly remember every single thing the thing that I like, things that didn't like. I think that it's not easy to be a coach, but more difficult is to be a coach in a national team because players arrive from their clubs tired, traveling, with all the pressure that they suffer, in their clubs. And then it's important to find a good balance in between for them to have the possibility they need to be happy. They need to enjoy in the way that they will be in the camp. Being responsible, being professional also, that is the most important thing, but it's our responsibility to create a very nice environment. They need to feel that, arrive the camp, we are going to be all together in the national team, we are going to enjoy playing football. I need to play freedom. I need to enjoy playing. I need to, to help the national team to earn, all that we want. It's completely different, the management in between a club and in the national team, because our job is to analyze, to try to provide in an individual way the best tool for them. If players need to rest a little bit more, players need to work in a physical condition because they didn't play in the last months, players that play maybe too many games, maybe to reduce, to the physical, approach, and to work more in the emotional way or psychology way, or more about the tactical way. And I think it's going to be a real challenge, very exciting challenge for us. We are thinking in all this. We need to create the necessity, and we need to, for the player, need to feel that they need to be exciting when it's going to be the next camp, because we want to meet the national team and enjoy and be all together and enjoy playing football.
Next will be Kyle Bond from the Sporting News.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mauricio, for your time. Really appreciate
welcome.
it. How much will you lean on leaders in the squad, like, you know, a Christian Pulisic, as you start your first camp? And do you have an idea how you'll build your leadership structure within the squad? Will you have one captain that will usually wear the armband if they're in the lineup, or maybe will you have more of a group like they've had in the past where the armband will bounce around?
Yes, but I think we have too many players that are leaders, and then it's about what I like is to discover, because I don't want to, that people will tell me, okay, this one is the leader, that is not the leader, that is good guy, that is not good guy, that is have character, that have no. I want to discover. I am a coach, and we are a coaching staff that we love to give the possibility to everyone. Because you know very well that someone you like me, another you don't like me before to meet. After you met, you maybe still not like me, or maybe you become in love, or I become in love with you, or after you met. And I think the circumstances are really important. And the relationship always is about to, how people is going to behave. We need to see the potential leaders also, because they are very young squad, some experienced player, different. But I think it's not a thing that is the priority. For me, the priority is that they need to feel free, act in a natural way. They need to feel and to behave in the way that they are, and to see how they are. And after, to decide and to help if we see, the potential leaders and the potential captain to decide, and to after to give the armband. But I think we are a coaching staff that we love to see, to analyze on place and see the player how they behave, because that is under our experience. Different coaching staff have different experience with the player. And for me, the most important thing is to live the experience with them, seeing them and see how they behave and how they are.
Our last question comes from Andrew Jones.
Thanks, Michael, and hola de nuevo again, Mauricio. Wanted to ask you, now that you are international manager, when you were a club manager dealing with the international managers with players, what is it like? How's it been like so far for you as an international manager dealing now with talking to club managers?
I am being not good because I need to, but I think because we had not time. But I promise, for all them to visit and to create a very good relation, because I know that too many players have sometimes problems, and sometimes for them it's difficult to call, the coaching staff or myself and to say, talk in a different, I think we need to create. And from after Austin and Mexico, I think our principal objective is to try to create with all the staff, all the players, that potential player for the national team that we have in different clubs, is to go and to visit and start from after Mexico, that to build that relationship, because I think it's important, because always there are some problems that is it's easy when you have very good contact and very good relationship, and you feel free, to call us and say, okay, how we can deal. Because sometimes player, maybe, I don't know, different example, no, but some player maybe that now the last months play a lot and maybe travel a lot, with the team, because they are involved in the European competition, and maybe play all the minutes, and maybe, they need some rest because potential risk, to get injured or not to perform. And that is the moment that maybe we to act in between, the two coaching staff, and to talk and to prevent problems, and always to help the player, because I think to get the benefit, to the player. Because sometimes if some player, because he's playing too much and is performing well, is not coming in one camp, maybe it's not going to be the end of the world, but it's going to help and to prevent and to anticipate problems. And it's going to be better for the next and the objective that is the World Cup. And I think it's so important to create this relationship and hope that we can from now to have more time and be focused into create this relationship and be good for them, giving always the possibility to talk, because relationship and communication and all the the areas are the most important thing.